Well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How you doing there?
Hello, good morning. Happy New Year.
Welcome to Explode into 2024. When you're ready, go to the chat box, say hello, let us know how you doing. Happy New Year. For those of you who we haven't seen for a little while, Happy New Year, and good to see you once again. Well, I'm very excited for this training because goal setting has had a big impact on my life. I remember at the age of 16, I started to wakeboard. I started to have my competitive sporting career. And I thought through wakeboarding that I was going to be able to take on the world. And I said to my friends, I want to compete. I want to go into competitions. And I said, what should I do? And they said, well, we'll give you the 3-step goal setting system. And I said, what's that? They said, step 1, here's your board. Number 2, there's the water. Number 3, go win competitions. And I started to feel that goal setting was going to be easy as 1, 2, and 3. And I really felt, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say it these days, that I felt so confident that in my first competition, I was going to become the Australian champion. I thought that was going to be possible. I could just set and achieve these goals like 1, 2, and 3, and I was going to go from 0 to hero in one step. But the world had a different plan for me. And I quickly learned about setbacks, and I quickly learned about obstacles, and I learned about how tough winning can be. So after having that experience, I learned that there was a lot to learn about goal setting. And that's why we're here at Explode into 2024, to help you learn more about goal setting. So what about you, Nini? How's your goal setting experience been?
Well, I definitely have some good and have some bad. Sometimes set the goal way too big out of my comfort zone and I didn't achieve it. I feel very bad, about myself. But sometimes I know that when I have a structure and the system in place, my goals is much easier to be able to achieve.
So what about you? Have you had that experience? Have you set and achieved a goal? Have you set a goal and you failed? Because either way, if you've done it, we've got to learn to do it again so we can repeat success habits. And if you didn't learn it in the past and you didn't get what you want, well, let us teach you what other successful people do so you can get those same results in 2024. How does that sound?
Sounds very good.
Well, let's do it. So how many of you want to make 2024 your best year yet? Is that you? Do you want to make 2024 your best year yet? And how many of you want to learn strategies so you can become the very best version of yourself? Is that what you're here for? Is that what you're here for?
Yeah, I want to become cuter.
You want to become cuter? Well, we're going to make that happen. Now, for those of you who said yes, you're in the right place because today you're going to learn the secrets on how to explode into 2024 and to make an impact that others will start to envy.
Today, you will learn the 4 steps to never quit on your goals.
Never quit.
And how to unleash the power of your subconscious mind. Also, plus the proven system to boost your income by 1,004%.
So are you ready to explode into 2024? Are you ready to make an impact?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, my mentor, Brian Tracy, he said, future intent determines present action. And what this means is having a clear goal in your mind makes it so much easier. So today, let's get clarity on your goals. That's what we're going to do to start with. So I want you to imagine this. Nini, I want you to imagine that I had a magic wand. I want you to imagine that I had a magic wand and I could wave that magic wand and I could grant you and Samantha and TC and George, I could wave that magic wand and grant you any one wish. Now, if I could do that for you, what wish would you wish for? Which one wish would have the greatest impact on your career or your income? What would it be? So let me know in the chat box. Which one wish would have the greatest impact on you?
It can be you want more authority.
Your wish is granted.
More approval.
Approved.
Or more persuasive. Or you want to have more sales. It can be want to have less obstacles.
Imagine if I could wave that magic wand, abracadabra, alakazam, and
Or-
take away all your obstacles.
Yep.
Would that make life easier?
Or less doubt.
Mm.
Less anxiety.
Who would like to have less anxiety?
Or less stress.
What would you wish for? I want you to go to the chat box and let us know in the chat box. Maybe some of you want to stop making mistakes. Maybe you want that magic wand to remove all those potential mistakes. Maybe you want to stop feeling insecure. Maybe you want to stop doubting yourself. Or maybe, and we'll keep it a secret, maybe you've got some bad habits. Maybe you just want to get rid of some of those bad habits. For others, maybe you want to start to earn more money. Maybe you want to start to speak with more confidence. Maybe you want to attract better opportunities. Or maybe you want to have more fun in 2024. You want the journey to be more fun. So go to the chat box and let us know, what would you wish for?
George said more sleep.
Yes, we're going to talk about sleep today, George.
Okay, Samantha, clear path to take. Wonderful, you're the right place.
Excellent.
Jesse, generate more big sales and earn massive commission.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
You don't want small commissions, do you?
You want a massive.
You want massive commissions. Yeah. TC, to be more persuasive. Well, I'm going to grant that wish for you.
George said less travel. Let's swap, George. Okay, so you can spend more time with my husband and out of the house.
Are we going to wife swap, are we? No, 2024 wife's going to be George. I like that. Georgina.
Wonderful.
Bartholomew, more income. Excellent. Well, all of those things and more you can achieve this year. And so today we want to show you how you can wave that magic wand on your own life and you can make all those become a reality. So let's talk about goal setting statistics for a moment. Let's have a look at what's possible. What we've learned from the Dominican University of California is that you can double the likelihood of achieving your goal. Now, it doesn't matter what your goal is. If you follow these simple steps, you can start to double the likelihood of achieving anything that you want. So the likelihood that you'll achieve your goal is 33% if your goal is unwritten. So let's think about the past. Have you had a goal in the past, you never wrote it down, but you still achieved it? Have you experienced that before?
Yep.
Well, there's a 33% chance that if you just set a goal but don't even write it down, that you're going to be able to achieve it. In addition, 43%, you can double the likelihood of achieving your goal if you just write it down. So imagine that, an extra 10% more likely if you write the goal down. Now, if your goal is written down and you have action steps to achieve it, you're going to have a 64% chance of doubling the likelihood of achieving that goal. So look at that. The difference between having an unwritten goal and a written goal is 30% more likelihood of achieving it. But you have a 76% chance of doubling the likelihood of achieving your goal if your goal is written, it has action steps, and you share it with a coach, and you provide weekly updates. And this is the latest research. This is the latest statistics. And what Nini and I say is all you have to do is what successful people do, and you'll get the same results. So if you want to double the likelihood of achieving your goal, all you've got to do is write it down, have your action steps in place, share it with your coach, and then provide weekly updates. And this is the latest research coming out of the Dominican University of California. And what we're going to do today is we're going to align ourselves with this proven principle, and we're going to make it happen for you. Does it sound good to you, Nini?
Absolutely. And I think what you say is exactly right, because I just finished one coaching session, 30 minutes ago. And with the clients, when she shared with me, on the weekly, what she has done with a certain activity, we actually will be able to eliminate some of low value tasks. So she knows she won't make the same mistake, moving forward. So she can get her destination, reaching her goal faster. It's very important.
So let's make that happen today. So as we explode into 2022, I want you to remember that it's very easy to lose focus. Would you agree that it's easy to lose focus? Especially with all the constant pressure to achieve your goals. And what I believe is that some of these things just get in our way. But what's the biggest thing that gets in the way, Nini?
Husband.
Husband?
Your mindset.
It's the mindset, isn't it? The biggest thing that gets in our way is our mindset. So the first strategy we want to give to you today is the Explode into 2024 manifesto. And these are powerful words and phrases to capture your attention and bring you back to the moment. So take a look at the screen and let me know in the chat box what words or quotes stand out to you. What words or phrases or quotes capture your attention? And when you find yours, I want you to share it in the chat box. Now, I already know my one, and the one that stands out to me is on the bottom left, and it says, I want to make an impact. Now, the reason why that's important to me is because if I make an impact, my family benefit. If I make an impact, my friends will look up to me. And if I make an impact, my customers will attract better opportunities. Does that make sense? When I make an impact, it improves Nini's and Nikita's and Caesar's life. When I make an impact, my friends start to look up to me. But when I make an impact, my customers start to attract better opportunities. And so that's what I want for 2024. So what about you? Gail says, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Joshua said, go all in.
Priya says, go all in.
Wonderful.
So what about you, Nini? What stands out to you?
What really stands out to me is peace of mind. Okay? And I think the reason why this is important to me is because if I have a peace of mind, I know my family will get the best version of me. So I'm not bashing you,
She does bash me a lot.
I'm not nagging the children.
Always nagging.
And if I have a peace of mind, my friend will get the best version of me. If I have peace of mind, my customers will get the best version of me. And they also will become the very best version of themselves.
Excellent. So Nini wants to have peace of mind. I want to make an impact. Samantha says clarity, focus, and concentration. And they're three very important things, aren't they, Samantha? Clarity, you've got to know what you want. Secondly, you've got to focus on what you want. And then you've got to concentrate on that one thing so nothing else becomes a distractor. Because it's easy to get distracted, isn't it? All you got to do is turn on social media right now and you'll go down the rabbit hole. Some of you start to talk to your mothers and you start to go down the rabbit hole. You think to yourself, I wish I never started that conversation. Are you with me? So you've got to be able to concentrate. Excellent. Good. And all these things we want for you in the year ahead. So what stands out to you and what do you need to focus on? This is Kylie. Her goal was to create financial security. One of the challenges was that she was working 70 hours per week and she was still stuck because of her mindset. Now, once Kylie learned the Explode into 2024 system, the following year, she was able to make $1 million in sales and she doubled her income. Isn't that incredible? She doubled the income in 1 year. So who here would like to achieve their goals? Is that you? Are you ready to achieve your goals? Excellent.
Yes.
Well, to do that, we need coaching. So let me ask you, who needs coaching? Raise your hands. Do you need coaching?
I
Do you need coaching?
Yes.
Does our dog need coaching?
Absolutely.
Do our cats need coaching?
Yes.
Do our children need coaching?
Yeah.
Does your husband need husband coaching?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I believe that we all need coaching. Now, the first tool I want to share with you is what we call the performance curve, and it will help you get clarity on your starting point.
And with this tool, you will get clarity on your starting point. So you can eliminate the confusion from the process and then achieve your goals with astonishing speed. So which one are you and where do you sit on the performance curve?
Are you a new performer? Now, if you're a new performer, you're probably new in business. You're probably new into your career. Or maybe you're a developing performer. You've already had some success in the past. You've already tasted success, and now you want more. Or maybe you're a high performer. You're already at the top of your game, and now you want to get to the next level.
The next one is plateau performance. So you were great in the past, but now the market has changed. Or you are declining performers. You have lost the love for your career. Or you are poor performers. Lead, sales, or income has dropped.
So where are you on the performance curve? Now, it's not a competition. There's no good or bad, right or wrong. All I want you to be able to do is identify where you are on the performance curve. Because new performers need different goals to developing performers. Poor performers need different goals to high performers. Declining performers need different goals to plateaued performers. So I want you to think about, where are you starting from? And as we say in emotional intelligence, an accurate starting point is the most important. You've got to know where you're starting from. What's an example of that? Imagine I'm in Sydney and I want to drive to Brisbane. Now, that's probably around about 800 kilometres. Now, if I know I'm starting from Sydney and I want to get to Brisbane, I can start to calculate how much fuel I need in the tank. Does it make sense? If I'm going to drive 800 kilometres, at least I can say, well, my car does 10 kilometres to the litre, and I can work it backwards, and I'm going to need 80 litres to do 800 kilometres. But if you've driven anywhere in the world, you know sometimes you need a bit more fuel in the tank because there's sometimes diversions. Sometimes you're sitting in traffic because it's so slow. Sometimes there's a headwind and you've got to put your foot on the accelerator even more. And instead of using 10 kilometres to the litre, you might use 5 kilometres to the litre. You might even be towing a trailer. And so that fuel economy drops down. So we've got to be able to have an accurate starting point in 2024. Where are you starting from? Go to the chat box, let me know. Are you a new performer? Are you a developing performer? Are you a high performer? Are you a plateaued performer? Are you a declining performer? Or are you a poor performer? Okay, Samantha, declining. I've been there. Absolutely. And there's no shame in that. All of us go through all of these 6 stages. There's not one person on the planet who's not gone through these 6 stages. And some people, Samantha, you can go through these 6 stages in a matter of weeks. You can be a high performer and the market turns around and all of a sudden, poor performer. These are natural and normal things. So let's learn about the goal setting facts. So you're probably aware that having goals is an important part of being successful. Have you learned that by now? You realize that goals are an important part of being successful. Now, what we've learned is people are 90% more likely to achieve their goals, listen to this, if it's relevant and reasonably challenging. Now, what that means is that the goal that you set has to be important to you. And it has to be reasonably challenging. It doesn't have to be a 10x goal. It doesn't have to be a 8x, a 5x, a 3x, a 2x. It could just be a 1% stretch. And as long as it's reasonably challenging, then you'll start to go after it. Secondly, goals that are written down increase the chances of achieving them by 42%. So you can put yourself on the side of the angels just by writing your goals down. Now, people who have a schedule and a commitment to achieving the goal are 76% more likely to achieve their goals. Now, we're not talking about intelligence or skill. All we're talking about is doing the basics. And this is your competitive advantage.
We also found out that 84% of the people do not set any goals or have them written down.
So imagine that. Look around the world. 84% of people do not have a goal. Imagine that. Is success easy or hard? It's actually easy when you realize that 84% of people aren't even in the game.
And 13% of the people have some form of the goals written, but there's no plan on how to execute them.
13%. 13 out of 100 people.
And there's only 3% of the people who have written goals with a concrete plan are 10 times more likely to achieve success than those who don't.
So what's the competition? It's about 3 people out of every 100. Isn't that incredible? Success is actually so easy once you know the numbers. So you can see how important it is, isn't it, to have goals. And once you start to get these principles in place, it's then you start to achieve your goals with astonishing speed. But people don't set goals. And we've got to explore why people don't set goals.
Well, we all know that setting goal is super important, but we all done it. Maybe you set a goal, achieve it, and they're totally at the top of your game. Or maybe you set a goal and failed or quit early.
Have you set a goal before and then you quit too early? I've done it.
Yep, especially for me as well. Go to gym. I hate go to gyms. Or maybe you haven't really set any goals at all. Or maybe that's not working for you. But maybe you wanted to do it. I'd like to hear about your experience about setting the goals. Did you ever set a goal and achieve it? Or did you set a goal and had trouble achieving it? What's the experience?
Who's set a goal and achieved it? Or who's set a goal and you didn't achieve it? Has that happened to you, George? Samantha, TC, has that happened to you? Excellent. It happens to all of us. George, yes. Yes to both. Okay, George, when you're ready, let's hear your story. Good morning. Our world traveller, how you doing there?
Hey, George.
Good to see you there.
Happy New Year.
Okay, tell us about a time in the past when you've set a goal and achieved the goal, or you've set a goal and you failed to achieve it. What happened?
Oh, it's part of it. Neuro. So, in 6 months' time. So it was January 2005. One of milestones. So I had enough of corporate. I want to go and set up my own company, do my so the goal is 6 months. I give myself 2 quarters, 6 months to do my research, do everything on the side, and then jump ship in July. Right, so that was achieved, right, and that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, setting up my company, etc. And part of that goal setting was the business plan for the new company. Set up the office, buy equipment, hire one person to do some of the admin before I move over. So the driving force behind that was really the business plan. And on top of that was the signing of a distributorship for a software that to be the sole representative of Asia Pacific. So that was a goal that I had achieved, driven by I had a need to get out of corporate because it was killing me. Okay.
Who else has a drive to get out of corporate?
Yeah. So there was a very strong motivation to actually do it. All right. So I guess it was the motivation definitely that drove the goal. that drove the work. Because it wasn't easy, because daytime you do a job, also traveling, and nighttime and weekends you are doing the rest of the work. So you're actually doing two jobs at the same time. Right. So yeah, I think the motivation was very, very, very important. The why, the desire, what was it that really drives you to want to achieve that goal? And the opposite to that is when the goal and the desire are going to come together. When that is not aligned, most of the time you're not going to achieve the goal, no matter how easy or difficult that will be. For me, when I know that if my desire to set that goal, right, is not there, there must be an end to the means somehow. Right? I'll give you an example. One of the things last year, I've been traveling quite a lot, and I've gained weight. I haven't gone to the gym. I've stopped swimming. I've stopped playing football because before COVID, during COVID, all my team got disbanded, and I can't find new teams. Too lazy to find it. I'm traveling, so my fitness has dropped tremendously. So this year I'm setting a goal, but I know my desire is not that strong to set this goal, to achieve this. I go to the gym. I mean, I already failed it in my first week already. I go to the gym at least.
George, are we friends?
You must be going to the same gym as me.
Yeah, I need to lose weight and get fit again. And I just hate going to the gym. That's it. I don't find joy in it. It's tedious. Whereas in the past, football was the driving force because I enjoyed it. There's a team spirit. There's the social aspect of it afterwards. And because of that, I want to get fitter to enjoy my game. If I'm not fit, I don't enjoy the game, right? And all my teammates are shouting at you, hey, you suck today. So the desire to go to the gym for the sake of going to the gym is not there. But if I have football and I play regularly, then the desire to go to the gym is there because I want to keep fit to play my game. Yeah, so I don't know. If you guys can help me get my fitness back, set my goals right, go to the gym, whatever that will be, right. That's something I really want to achieve this year.
Well, we'll make it happen today. Thank you. Now, George said something really important there. He was talking about the why. And we're going to talk about that today because there's been some new discoveries in neuroscience. And we're going to have 4 things. And they all finish with the letter ION. And the one that George was talking about was rationalization. You need to have reasons to achieve the goal. If you set a goal, but you don't have any reason to achieve it, you'll never achieve the goal. So you've got to make sure you've got rationalization, and we're going to show you how to get that today. Rationalization is like fuel in the tank. The more fuel in your tank, the further you can go. But what do you have to do before you go on any journey? You got to fill up the tank. That's what a good driver does, don't they? At the start, if they know they're going to drive 800 kilometres, they fill up the fuel first. But what happens to an incompetent driver? They don't check the fuel. They don't check the oil. They don't check the tyres. And they just go, well, let's give it a go. But most of those people have accidents along the way. So we want to avoid that today. So we understand that people don't set goals. And over the years, Nini and I have discovered that there's 7 reasons why people don't set goals.
Number 1, not serious. You're not being serious about your life is the key, to everything. So if you're not serious about your life, you won't set the goals. Number 2, not responsible. Not responsible. Don't be like that. If you don't set goals for your life, you won't have a life.
Think about that. If you don't set goals for your life, you won't have a life.
Number 3, guilt and unworthiness. So guilt is a very tricky emotion. It can turn you into a person who never set goals because you are convinced that you never be good enough to achieve the goal.
Number 4, people don't understand the importance. Now, when you don't set goals for yourself, you're essentially saying that your current circumstances can't get any better. And as long as they can't get any better, why would you want to change anything? Like George said before, he stopped going swimming, he stopped playing football, he stopped going to the gym, and now he's gained weight. But he also realizes that there's a new level of fitness, and he wants to find reasons to get back to the gym. He wants to find reasons to play football. He wants to find reasons to get back in the pool. So if we think this is as good as it gets, if we think that this is all life has to offer, then we stop. But George, when you look at your body, you compare it to the past, don't you? Well, that belly wasn't that big in the past. I could actually see more when I looked down in the past. And I know, George, because just before Christmas, I set a goal to lose weight. And I've already lost 9 kilos. Now, I'm going to tell you what to do, but I'm also going to tell you what not to do when it comes to goal setting. So show me your hands. Is there a next level of income for you? Is there a next level of income? Yes. Is somebody earning more money than you? Yes, if somebody's earning more money than you, then there's a next level. Could you be making more sales? Well, when you look around, you've only got to see other people making more sales for you to realize that there's a new level of sales. What about business growth? Now, a lot of companies report single-digit growth. 1%, 2%, 3%. And there's other companies out there reporting double-digit growth, isn't there? 20%, 30%. And then you see these other companies who do 2,000, 3,000% growth in a year, and you think to yourself, why aren't I doing that? Now, that's good. Because if you can see other people doing it, you also realize that there's a new level for you. The fifth reason why people don't set goals is because they don't know how. Now, I don't know about you, but when you were growing up, did your parents teach you how to set goals? Did mum and dad sit George on their knee and say, Georgie boy, this is how you set and achieve goals? No. Did your teachers sit you down and say, this is how you set goals? Did your university professors sit you down? No, they didn't. But it's not their job. It's not your parents' job. It's not your boss's job. It's not your professor's job. It's actually your job to learn. But it's one of the reasons why we don't set goals. Simply, we just don't know how. Number 6, people don't set goals because they fear rejection and criticism. They don't want to be told they're wasting their time. They don't want to do something the wrong way. So I want to tell you a secret. Are you ready for it? Lean in. I've got to whisper it. Lean in, lean in, lean in. Come on, George. TC, come on. TC, lean forward. Here's the secret. Don't tell people your goals. If you don't tell people your goals, they can't criticize you. Now, George, talking about a weight loss goal, think about this. Have you said to a friend, male or female, that you want to lose weight? Have you ever said that before? Have you ever said to a friend you want to lose weight? I have. And you know what the response has been? I like you the way you are. You look great the way you are. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to gain muscle? Has that happened to anybody before? See, as soon as you share your goals with other people, you open yourself up to criticism. So imagine this. Imagine you say to your husband or wife that you want to lose weight. But they say to you, I love you the way you are. Now, inside of your mind hears, if I lose weight, they might not love me. And now you don't want to get criticized, do you? So you don't go ahead and follow through on the goal. Number 7, fear of failure. When you're afraid of failure, it's very easy to think that success only comes to those who don't make mistakes. Now, the truth is, nobody has ever succeeded without failing many times. That's the truth, isn't it? Everybody fails. So I want you to think about those. Think about those 7 reasons why people don't set goals. Nini, have you ever failed to set a goal or not set a goal in the past? And what was your reason why you didn't set the goal?
I think one of the reason is the fear of criticism, because I really care about what people say about me. So that kind of stopping me from sharing. And I remember when I in a college, one time my teacher asked everybody in the class, it's like, hey, what you guys want to do after you graduate? And I raised my hands and I say, well, I want to be a cabin crew, I want to be a flight attendant. And he looked at me, he said, well, you're tall, you do have the look, but do you have a rich family? Is your dad or parents working for the government? I said, my family was okay, but my parents now working for the government. And then he said something very interesting. He's like, well, then I'm not quite sure that you can get into the job in Taiwan because, in Taiwan, back then, for the China airline, the parent have to work in the government level in able to get in to the airline. Then I feel like, because I don't have that background.
He stole your dream.
Yeah. And then I think
Dream stealer.
that point I feel like, okay, maybe in the future I don't share, I don't talk until I actually get a job.
Have you had something like that before? Yeah. How did it make you feel? It happened to me. I got to tell you this secret. I told my mum that I wanted to be cabin crew, that I wanted to move to Dubai and fly around the world. And the first thing she said to me, she said, are you gay? And I said, what? She said, are you gay? Because so many male air hosts are gay. And I said, Mum, I'll be the straight guy amongst thousands of gorgeous women. But then I learned maybe I just shouldn't set my goals because I don't want to have to defend myself. Does it make sense? I don't want people to criticize what I'm going to do. So that's what I learned.
So sometimes it's better to keep it for yourself.
So there's 2 people. There's only 2 people that you should share your goals with. Would you like to know who they are? Number 1, you should share them with your coach. Number 1, share them with your coach. Your coach will never criticize your goals. They'll support you unconditionally. And secondly, you should only share it with somebody who will unconditionally support your success. Now, this is very important. Sometimes your parents want different things for you. Have you had that before? You had a dream to achieve something like a career or a certain goal, but your parents wanted you to do something else. We were having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he's a pilot.
Yep.
And he asks the first officers, he's a captain, and he asks his first officers, why are you flying? They said, I don't know. He said, why are you flying? Why are you doing this job? Well, my parents said it would be a good job. Why are you flying? Well, I got good grades and I worked in the semiconductor industry and this job come up and I applied for it. Why are you doing it? I don't know. So, number 1, share it with your coach. Secondly, only share it with somebody who will never criticize your goal and who will only unconditionally support you 100%. Does it make sense? And nobody else should know your goals. So we now know why people don't set goals. And if you turn to page number 6 of the training system, we're going to give you the 7-step goal setting formula. These are 7 steps that are going to change your life.
So this formula has been used by some of the most successful people in the world. It's proven, simple, and easy to follow. So you will be able to set your goals with the confidence and stay motivated 99% of the time. And here is how we're going to do it. First, I want you to describe very specifically what you want. When it comes to setting goals, we often guilty of saying what we don't want.
Now, George, you lived in the United Kingdom, didn't you? Think about the language in the United Kingdom. How's the weather? Not bad. How's the family? Well, they're not in prison. How's the job? Well, I haven't left yet. Do you remember this language that the British use? So we're often guilty of saying what we don't want. What we have to learn to do is to say what we do want.
So we said, I don't want to lose money. Instead of saying that, we say, I want to make $1 million in the next 12 months. We said, I don't want to be in my career. Instead of saying that, you say, I want to start my own business in the next 12 months. But if you are going to set goals that are actually going to help you to get a result, then you need to set the SMART goals.
So remember, step one, you've got to say exactly what you want. You've got to have the confidence to say exactly what you want. Don't play games with your mind. If you want to earn 100,000, say, I want to earn 100,000. If you want to start a business, say, my goal is to start a business. That's the most important thing. Now, for a goal to be smart, it needs to be simple and specific. So when you set your goals, they should be clear and easy for you to understand.
The second one, you have to make sure it's measurable and meaningful. What does that mean? You are not just setting a goal, but you're also setting a direction for your life.
Think about this. This is not just a goal. This is the direction of your life. This is where you're pointing your life. You're setting the compass to take your life in this particular direction.
So your goal should be meaningful and measurable with a number. As we said, what gets measured is what gets done.
Achievable and as if now. Now, a goal that seems too hard will make it harder for you to stay motivated throughout the journey. So the goal's got to be achievable. What's an example of that? Well, I was working at Emirates Airline and I was earning $50,000 a year, respectable income at the time. And I had a goal to earn $1 million a year in my side hustle. Does that make sense? How is it that I've only got enough skill to make $50,000 a year in full-time employment, but I have a side hustle goal, which I could commit maybe an hour a day to my business, and to think I can make $1 million a year on the side? Does that seem a little bit crazy, TC? That's wild, isn't it? Now, what happened? The goal wasn't achievable. It was too big, and I never took action on it. So when you set your goals, if they're too hard, if they're too big too soon, you won't get motivated. So make sure the goal's achievable for you, not for somebody else, achievable for you.
It also has to be realistic and responsible. You have to be realistic about what is possible with your resources, your time, your energy, your money, but also your skill set. Goals that are way too big too soon or too far out of your comfort zone will cause you to sabotage your own success.
Does that make more sense now? I had the skill to earn $50,000 a year, but I didn't have the skill set to earn $1 million a year by dedicating an hour a day to my project. Is that making more sense? It was too far out of the comfort zone. And that's why we say we've got to have a realistic starting point. Your goals should also be timed and towards what you want. Now, for your goals to be smart, you've got to set deadlines for each step so that you can measure your progress on your journey towards reaching your ultimate goal. Now, does anybody have children here? With our children, what we do is we measure their height against the wall. And they've got a chart and it says 100 centimetres, 105, 110, 115, 120. And what do the kids do, TC? If a child's 110 centimetres, they stand on their tippy toes because they want to be 115 or 120 centimetres, don't they? They get excited. They want to be taller than they really are. And this is called an aspiration factor. All of us want to look more attractive. All of us want to make more money. For children, they always want to be taller. They never want to be shorter. They want to be taller so they can go on the rides at the theme park. But what do we do as parents, TC? We push their head back down, don't we? Stop standing on your tippy toes, put your heels on the ground, and let's measure your starting point. And that's really important. And then we measure the progress. And think about the excitement, TC. When your children grow a centimetre and 2 centimetres and 3 centimetres and 4 centimetres, that excitement builds, doesn't it? Even our son, he's so excited about growing that he's got an affirmation. And he says, I'm going to grow, I'm going to grow, I'm going to grow so tall. I'm going to grow, I'm going to grow, I'm going to grow so tall. I'm going to grow, I'm going to grow, I'm going to grow so tall. Because he knows every time he gets a centimetre taller, he feels more confident. And so every time he grows a centimetre, we celebrate that. So everything has to be timed. It has to be measured so we can measure and celebrate that progress. So for example, if you're setting a goal, it might sound like this. It is now the 20th of December, 2024, and I earn $500,000. You might say it's now the 20th of December, 2024, and I have read 12 books. You might say it's now 20th of December, 2024, and I'm a certified coach. So start to think about your goals using the SMART goal setting formula.
Number 2, start date and the completion date. So if you don't set a start date and a completion date for your goal, it's likely that you'll never get started or finish it.
Inshallah, I'll start tomorrow.
So it's very important setting a very clear timeline. This will help you to stay on track with your goals and make sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
Thirdly, obstacles and constraints to overcome. Now, in the words of John Maxwell, he says, no obstacles equal no movement. So when you set a goal, you're making a commitment to overcome the obstacles that stand in your way. And when you don't set goals, you're actually committed to staying right where you are. Now, the fact is that you set a goal and you also determine your obstacles. And this is one of the reasons why people don't set goals. So, George, let me tell you the story. You want to lose weight? You want to lose a lot of weight? You want to do it fast? Well, I lost 9 kilos and all I did was set a goal. I set a goal and I said, it is now the 28th of March, 2024, and I weigh 93 kilos. Now, I hopped on the scales, George. I was 107 kilos. And then I lost 9 kilos within 2 weeks. Would you like to know how I did it? I got sick. My son come home with a stomach flu. I got the stomach flu. For 4 days, I stayed in bed. Anything I put in here, it came out. And I just had a liquid diet for 4 days. And then my body started to eat all the visceral fat. And within days, Nini said, gee, you're looking slim. And I thought to myself, getting sick equals weight loss. This is a good thing. I should get sick more often. So on the Wednesday, the next week, I started to feel good. On the Friday, I started to feel good. And then on the Friday night, I started to get a fever. Saturday, I had a fever. Sunday, I had a fever. I went to the doctor on Monday and he said, congratulations, you've got influenza. And I hopped on the scales and I now weigh 98 kilos. And I didn't do any exercise. But here's the point. When you set a goal, you also face obstacles. And George, when I set the goal to get to 93 kilos, I'd totally forgotten about getting sick. Because every time we set a new goal, we change the direction of our life. We start to change the obstacles. And we say the obstacle is the way. And for me, the first thing I had to deal with was health problems. And this is why people don't set goals. Has that happened to you before? You set a goal and all of a sudden you get challenges and obstacles that you've never had before. Has that happened to you? And you think to yourself, why am I setting these goals? My life was good. Now I've got all these challenges. My life was good at 107 kilos. I was fit. I was healthy. But I changed the goal and I got sick. But I didn't anticipate it. So, George, when it comes to weight loss, I'll tell you what not to do. Make sure you clarify exactly how you want to do it. That's the key.
Yes. Number 4, core competency and the skills required. So to achieve something that you have never done before, you have to become someone you have never been before. And in order to achieve your SMART goals, you need to learn and develop the new skills. Maybe it can be the new ways of thinking, a new mindset, but also some new habits in order to achieve this goal.
So very important that you've got to think about updating your skills as part of the goals. Number 5, leverage required. Now, the Greek philosopher Archimedes once said, "Give me a place to stand and a lever, and I can move the earth." And what he was actually talking about was leverage. And there's 7 forms of leverage. There's 7 forms of leverage that you can utilize to achieve your goals in astonishing speed. The first is you can leverage other people's energy. I have a cousin and he has 175 employees. He's leveraging 175 people's energy to achieve the goals. So let me ask you, Kim, you have 8 hours of work in a day, is that correct? Now, if you spend 8 hours a day working towards your goals, then you've got 8 hours of time. But what would happen if you had 175 people working for 8 hours a day towards your goal? You'd have 1,400 human hours per day working towards your goals. Times that by 5, 7,000 hours per week. So what this means is if you want to achieve your goals with astonishing speed, stop trying to do it all by yourself. Build a team around you. Leverage other people's energy. Secondly, you've got to leverage other people's knowledge. The truth is you don't know it all. Is that true? You don't know it all. It's impossible for you to learn it all. And we've got to accept that. So what we do is we leverage other people's knowledge. We find coaches. We find mentors. We find consultants. We find educators. We learn from people who've already achieved the goals that we want. Like before, George wants to lose weight. I can tell George, hey, let me share some wisdom with you. Let me share some knowledge. And now George is probably thinking, yes, I want to achieve the goal, but I don't want to get sick. Does that make sense? So we've got to leverage other people's knowledge. We've got to leverage other people's money. Now, for some of your goals, if you want to build a business, you're going to be limited to your amount of money. But if you start to speak to George, George knows that other people are willing to invest money into a good business. And if you want to achieve your goals and you've got $50,000 saved, but your business requires $50 million in capital, you're never going to achieve the goal. But there's other people out there who say, hey, I've got $50 million sitting here. They're called venture capitalists. And I'm willing to put $10 million into your business for the first 3 years. And then I'll allocate another $10 million if you get to these benchmarks. So if you want to achieve goals with astonishing speed, you leverage other people's money. You borrow it from the bank, you use your credit card, you get a personal loan, you get an investor. Does that make sense? You leverage because it gets you there faster.
You also can leverage other people's success. You know, when you hang out with other success people, you learn from their experience. You learn from their stories, but also other people's failures. Like the other day when me and Daniel, we met a new gentleman in Taiwan. He's a very successful businessman, But geez,
Millions of dollars in sales.
But geez, he has a lot of failures, like a lot of try and error. And then when he shared about his story, was like, okay, this is something that, we can avoid, we can do something different. So you also need to leverage other people's failures.
Like George. George can leverage my failure on weight loss. He was successful to lose 9 kilos, but he got sick along the way. Well, I want to lose the 9 kilos without the illness. Now I can share that wisdom with George and he can learn from my failure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, you can leverage other people's ideas. Like for me and Daniel, we have the team working for us. Sometimes they bring out a new idea that we never thought about before. So we leverage other people's ideas. Also, we can leverage other people's contacts. Do you know everybody? Do you know everybody, Daniel?
Nope.
No. So maybe, for example, George, he knows somebody that we don't know.
George absolutely knows people that I don't know that I need to know.
Yes. So we can leverage that.
And that's how you achieve your goals faster. You start to leverage. And if you use those 7 forms of leverage, you'll achieve the goals with astonishing speed. So that's leverage. Number 6, you also need to have a written plan. Now, in order to achieve your goal, you need a plan. And there's a 6P rule. And we say that proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Now, it's both simple and it's true. The people who have a plan are actually 1,004% more likely to achieve success than those who don't.
Number 7, action and executions. And I want you to write this down.
Are you ready to get those pens out? This is very important.
The more action you take, the more money you make.
The more action you
take,
the more money you
make. Because if you want to be successful in anything, then you have to get off your butt and take actions. Because the more time that you spend thinking about it, what could happen or what might happen, the less time you have, to make something happen. Does that make sense?
It does.
And it's very easy to feel paralyzed by fear or doubt.
Have you had that before?
Sometimes you're overthinking about it.
And then you just
freeze. So it's true that taking action can be very scary, but if you are not moving forward, then you're moving backward.
Remember that. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards.
So remember the rule. The more action you take, the more money you make.
What is it, Nini? The more action you
take,
the more money
you make.
Excellent. So, action and execution. And as Nini said, is one of the big things that gets in people's way is procrastination. And procrastination is a habit. Procrastination is a bad habits. But these bad habits actually can be changed. But before you can change your habit, you have to be able to identify what the pattern is. We can procrastinate and not even realize that we're procrastinating. Would you like an example? Who here loves to read? Who loves to research? Have you noticed that when you're reading and researching, you feel good? And you're telling yourself, I'm gaining new knowledge. But what are you not doing? You're not taking action.
Sales call.
You're not making sales calls. You're not following up. So it's very easy to go into these avoidance behaviors, but we can rationalize what we're doing. Well, I'm learning. And learning's a good thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the more you learn, the more you
earn.
But if I keep learning and I'm not taking action, I'm not going to make any money. So we're going to start to identify these patterns. So when you're ready, I want you to open up to page 9 of your training system, and let's have a look at these procrastination patterns.
So what do you do when you procrastinate?
What do you do?
Can be going to...
Go to the chat box. Let us know. What do you do?
What do you do? Come and harass wife?
Well, there's a statistic. Where are my dads? Dads, there was a recent statistic that came out and they said that dads spend about 7 hours per week in the toilet. On Instagram. So how do you procrastinate? What do you do? What do you do, Nini?
What do I do? A great question. You know what? I go wash clothes.
She hides in the laundry.
Yeah, I will hide in the laundry.
Yeah, Kim, housework.
Good.
Nini hides in the laundry.
Yep.
What else do you do?
I don't think I think that's probably the only thing. Like, if you couldn't find me in my office, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, you found me either the kitchen or the laundry. That's how I procrastinate, cooking, or I need to prepare food or whatever, like.
Pei Quinn says watching drama.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim says sleeping.
Okay.
Kim says scrolling. Yes, all of these things. And I want you to think about it. How much does that cost you? How much does that cost you? If that statistic, if you believe it, that men spend 7 hours a week in the bathroom scrolling through social media, imagine if you use that 7 hours on your side hustle. That's 7 hours on education. That's 7 hours on actually calling people. Imagine that. Imagine if you spent an extra 7 hours a week face-to-face with people who could buy your product. What would happen? Your results would explode. So we've got to be able to identify it first and foremost. So let's have a look at these procrastination patterns. So number one, the first procrastination pattern is actually having no goals. So when you have a look at page 9, on a scale of 1 to 10, how guilty are you of having no goals? Some of you are a little bit guilty. Some of you are very guilty of having no goals. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, how would you rank your procrastination in these 9 areas? Having no goals. Number 2, feeling powerless. Number 3, experiencing difficulties focusing. Number 4, holding on to limiting beliefs.
Number 5, experiencing personal setbacks. Number 6, becoming or being easily discouraged. Number 7, setting unrealistic goals. Number 8, being afraid of failure. Number 9, making excuses.
So these are 9 procrastination patterns. And I want you to ask yourself, what's your best habit? So have a look at that list of 9. What's your best habit? What's your best habit, Nini?
Best?
Out of those 9, what do you do best? Like for me, I always have goals. So for me, I've always got goals. I've probably got too many, but I've always got goals. Like I do that really, really well. So that's what I do. What about you, Nini?
I think I'll choose the same, having goals. I think both of us, we always have that. We always review each other, couples goals, personal goals, family goals. I think that's what me doing very good at, having the goals. Yeah.
Excellent. And what are your baddest habits? What are your worst habits? So, Nini, what's your worst habit? Out of all these 9 procrastination patterns, which is the worst one for you?
Can be sometimes experiencing difficulty focusing because I want so much stuff in my life, having too much goals, and then sometimes kind of like, which one should I start first? So that can be a little bit challenging for me. It used to be quite challenging for me before, but now I think I'm more focusing on. Yeah.
Well, George had a good question, and I'm glad you asked that, George. Can you explain more about number 5, experiencing personal setbacks? So number 5 is experiencing personal setbacks. And George, I think I'm a master of this. When I was doing my preparation for today, I wrote down, what are my worst habits? Well, for me, it's experiencing personal setbacks. And in 2023, it was illness. It was illness after illness after illness. It was sickness after sickness after sickness. And what I've learned through a lot of my studies, George, over the years, and I know this, is that about 84%, maybe more, but at least 84% of illness is psychosomatic in nature. And what that means is that our mind makes our body sick. We hold on to so much stress that we become toxic. And we have a perfect balance of alkaline and acidity in the body. All negative thoughts make you feel acidic. All acid in the body attacks the weakest part of your immune system and you get illness. But if your mindset is positive and what you eat is clean and alkaline, then it's very hard to get sick. So for me, George, illness. Over the years, I've had Epstein-Barr virus. I've had chronic fatigue. I've had multiple knee reconstructions. I've fallen off toilets and ripped my bum cheek open. I've been beat up by a gang of 6 guys and they broke my arm and tried to kill me. I've found over the years for me, the biggest obstacle for me is personal illness. But you know what the benefit is, George? When you have personal illness, you've got a great excuse not to do things, correct? You've got all the logical reasons. Well, I can't go out because I got the flu and I don't want to give it to anybody, so I can just stay at home. So for me, procrastination patterns is experiencing personal setbacks. Nothing from the outside world. Nothing that somebody's done to me. Something that's been created internally. Anybody else experienced that before? I like to say I'm my own worst enemy. Personal setbacks. Beautiful. What about you, Ninny? What's your baddest habit and how does it hurt you? Out of those 9, which is your baddest habit and how does it hurt you?
I think making excuse. If I say that one of the thing, making excuse is that sometimes I comparing myself with my husband. One of the example.
You talk about me like I'm not even here.
Yeah, no. Talking about, for example, speaking English. Like for me, when it comes to training or speaking, the excuses, when Daniel said, hey, go out and try more opportunity. Like recently, I also got invited for one of the business event. I'm going to do the keynote speaking. But then the first thing I was like, I'm going to be on the stage, sharing the stage with my husband. I'm Asian, English not my first language.
You're not Asian, you're Taiwanese.
How, what if people compare, my English ability with Daniel, like all those little self-talk. And then I say to Daniel, well, I'm not quite sure if I want to take this invitation, but I can go with you and support you. So, and then I realized that I just making the excuses. There's an opportunity there for me, but I'm so caught up with comparing myself with you. Then I think that's the one thing, for me to come to that realization, hey, I need to stop that. I need to stop that. Daniel's Daniel, Nini's Nini. We're 2 different person.
So what do you do? George, if we have a look on page 10, which area is in need of your attention? Well, for me, I wrote down stress, health and wellness. For me, in 2024, George, I'm going to simplify everything. I'm probably like you. I love to travel. I like to do something new every day. I like to have more opportunities coming in than I can absolutely handle. And I say yes to too many things because I want so much in my life and I think I've got to do it all this year. There's no time. I've got to do it now. Live in the now. Do it now. But I take on so much stuff that I make myself stressed. And so what I wrote down here, what needs my attention is health and wellness. I don't have to do everything now. I don't have to change the entire world today. I can actually do it over time. So coming into 2024, I've simplified all of my goals. I've stopped delivering a lot of my programs because I was trying to do too much at the same time. Does that make sense? George, yeah. Stop saying yes to everybody. I'm guilty of it. I feel bad. Like the other day I went to a shop and I just want to buy stuff because I want to make people feel good, but I got to say no. I can't help everybody. I can't donate to everybody who asks me for money. I've got to learn to say no. Now, also on page 10, how could this negatively impact your future? So we're thinking about what's the baddest habit. For me, it's personal setbacks. And how could it negatively affect my future? Well, like I said, it's just a lack of energy. George, I thought last year I was going to have to ring my parents and say, Mum and Dad, I think I'm going to die before you. I was that sick. It's a loss of time. Now, I took about 2 months off last year, plus almost the whole month of December. 3 months. So I lost 90 days. I stopped and I started. Have you realised that it takes a lot of energy just to start? And when you stop too soon, you've got to start all over again. And it always takes more energy to start. We say it takes about 95% of your energy just to begin. So you've got to build yourself up over and over and over and again just to start. And then all of a sudden you stop. That's going to impact my future. For me, I wrote down that I lose momentum. All of a sudden I'm going, and then I stop. And now I've got to start again. Sometimes I miss the market. And the worst thing for me, how could it impact my future, is in 2 to 3 years from now, I might stop and realise that I've been chasing the wrong goal. Has anybody done that before? You think you're chasing the right thing, then you wake up one day and you say, where am I? This is not where I want to be. It was all because we were chasing the wrong goal. So think about that for you. What are you going to improve upon this year? So that's procrastination. But another thing that's really important is learning how to overcome procrastination. And you've heard people say it, Nike, you know the shoes, they say just do it. But what if you're not sure where to start? What if you don't know what it actually is or how to get there? So we're going to be able to break it down. Number one, first of all, you have to increase your self-awareness. And you've got to become aware of your pattern. Don't feel bad about your patterns. Just become aware of them. Secondly, you've got to be able to improve your self-regulation skills. And you've got to get out of that mental rut. Because we get in that mental rut, don't we? And we stay in there for too long. So we want to give you 11 ideas that will help you overcome procrastination. So what do we got here, Nini?
So here are the 11 ideas that you can apply right now to overcome procrastination.
Not tomorrow.
Yes.
Not next week.
And you can achieve your goal at a very astonishing speed. First, you need to realize that done is better than perfections.
Yes.
Number 2, recognize your limitations. Number 3, also identify the fear or the doubt. Number 4, you need to push yourself to work on achieving. Number 5, attack the goal in a short time, intervals or small portion of the task. Number 6, change the thinking. Change your life. Number 7, refer to the to-do list. Number 8, care for yourself. Number 9, eliminate distractions. Number 10, better utilize small amounts of time. Number 11, practice self-awareness skills.
So these are the 11 things. Any one of those right now could change your life. You don't have to do all 11. You've just got to do one of those things. So if we go back and, George, if you and I continue the theme that we were talking about before, about wellness, for me, what I really need to do in the year ahead is, number one, I've got to eliminate distractions. when I had a look at my 2023 plan, I was going to deliver 17 different programs. 17! I've only got enough time for one. But in here, I thought I could do it. So I've got to eliminate the distractions. One of the big things for me, and I don't know about you, but in the past, social media was a big distraction for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I've built my business on social media. I value social media. And there was a time in the past where I used to get a lot of value. I used to go there and I used to learn a lot of things. But I don't feel it's like that anymore. I feel I go onto social media and it's just full of lies. It's full of scams. It's full of illusions. And I feel like I'm just comparing my life to other people's photos. Have you felt like that before? And I go, that's not what I want. And what I say about social media, it's like mental candy. It's like chewing gum. You go there and you go, you chew it and nothing happens. You spit it out. So for me, George, I've got to get rid of the distractions. Now, how could that impact my future? Well, if I don't eliminate these distractions, TC, I'm going to start to focus on everybody else except myself. Do you find that, Kim, when you go into social media, you look at everybody else's life and you're like, oh my gosh, their life's so fantastic. What's wrong with me? But it's all lies. It's all an illusion. And oftentimes after social media, I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, but sometimes I get off social media and I just feel that what I'm doing is not good enough. The other day, I saw this post, how this homeless 21-year-old made $7 million in 6 months. You've seen these, Kim? George has been around longer than I have, and you think to yourself, how can he do this? And he's 21 and I'm in my 50s and I can't even do it. But it's all a lie. It's all an illusion. Are you with me? And so instead of feeling inspired, I feel that I'm focusing on others and I'm starting to think that what I'm doing is not good enough. So for me, the distraction is social media. I do what I need to do for business and then it gets turned off. There is no value beyond that. What about you, wife? Distractions.
Oh.
Which area needs your most attention? Which one of these 11 things?
I think number one would be realize that done is better than perfection.
Where are my perfectionists? Okay, let's learn.
Yep. For me, I definitely the person I want everything look flawless, perfect before I started. And I think two things is first, give me a lot of stress on myself. So I won't have that peace of mind. And then when I, feel those emotions bubbling, I can focus. So that is one thing I need to know, personally it's not good for me. Secondly, for the business itself is that when I saw being perfect, other people already started. So that can impact my ability, to getting more sales or speaking to more customers. So for me now, I know, like I say to myself, when I want to start everything, 80%, 90% is perfect. Let's go. Even with my study, I set the goals. 90% is perfect. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Excellent. So these are the things that you can do. And on top of that, what I want to share for you in 2024 is the importance of optimism. Now, in the face of adversity, it's really tempting to give up. And I've given up in the past. But what if you thought about your setbacks as manageable circumstances rather than a personal flaw? Wouldn't that be a better way to think about it? What if you could actually see failure or setback as a chance to learn and grow? What if you could approach life with hope instead of fear? Wouldn't that be a big difference? Approach life with hope instead of fear. See, when you operate from optimism and a hope of success rather than a fear of failure, we become more motivated. We become more motivated to persist in pursuing our goals. despite all of those obstacles and setbacks.
Mm.
And it's this perseverance, it's this ability to persevere in the face of challenges, which is the key component of motivation. It's the key component. So I'd like you to turn to page number 12. I'd like you to turn to page number 12 and let's learn about optimism. Number 1, perseverance. We've got to persevere in the face of challenges.
Number 2, operating from hope of success rather than the fear of failure. Also, number 3, seeing setbacks as a manageable circumstances rather than a personal flaw.
Think about that one. Seeing setbacks as manageable circumstances rather than a personal flaw. People think, I've had a setback, I must be broken. There's something wrong with me. Stop it. There's nothing wrong with you. This is just a part of life. Now on page 12, I want you to answer the question, what does optimism mean to you? What does optimism mean to you? And then secondly, I want you to ask yourself, why is optimism important? So for me, I said optimism means to me, it's about remaining focused on what I want. Not what anybody else wants, not other people. It's remaining focused on what I want. And it's also about using those lessons learned to move forward. You know, the biggest thing for me was getting sick for the last 2 weeks of the year. Nobody come and injected me with a serum and said, Daniel, you're going to be sick. What I learned is that when I set my goals, I've got to make sure I put the right conditions around them. I'm not broken. I know all of this. Sometimes I just forget. And I should have said, I want to lose 93 kilos in a healthy and sustainable way without illness and stay in great health. It's a reminder. So now all of my other goals coming into 2023, health comes first. Health is the priority. Weight loss was the priority, but health came second. Can you see the difference there? Like George said before, achieving the goal at any cost. Getting the result and not caring about the journey. The journey is important, if not more important than anything else. I've also got to remind myself that setbacks are not flaws in my character. Setbacks does not mean I'm broken. A setback is just a setback. And then secondly, why is optimism important to me? Well, I've got to focus on where I'm going. I've got to keep the energy high. And if I do that, I'm in control. So what about you, Nini? What does optimism mean to you?
I think it means that I need to having fun. Everything has to be fun along the way during the journey. So that's mean to me. Because when we, I would say 2023 has been challenging for a lot of people, I think including us as well,
Wasn't it a weird, was
very
2023 a weird
very
year?
weird year. So
What a weird year.
So I think having that optimism, think that, okay, this is just a part of journey. We still can, having fun, even in the challenging time. I think that quite important. I would say very important. And what's the next questions?
Next question is, why is optimism important to you?
I think why is important to me is because first, keep me focused. Second, keep me enjoy my life. A lot of people, when they have setback, they feel they don't enjoy their life anymore. So I think that is one thing, for me, I think, I still want to enjoy my life, even have a setback.
Excellent. Well, either way, you get to choose. And one of the things that we have to choose on the journey is commitment. And commitment is making a promise to yourself. It's making a promise to others. But it's also about being dedicated to fulfilling the promise. It's easy to make a promise. It's easy to break a promise. But it's hard to fulfill the promise. Commitment is about aligning your goals with those of a larger group or organisation. For me, who's my group? It's my gang. It's my wife. It's my kids. I've got to make sure that my goals align with them. George, years ago, I set goals to build an international business, and I travelled around the world and I didn't see my children. I didn't see my wife, and I felt lonely the whole time. And I thought to myself, after 7 years of doing that, that wasn't very fun because I missed out on all those important moments. So you've got to set your goals and align them with family or the larger group that you're in. It's also about leveraging the core values of that organisation in making decisions. What are your family values? What are your business values? Now, commitment is also about finding a sense of purpose and a larger mission. For me, I've been on the journey with a lot of my clients for 5 and 7 and 10 years, and I'm committed to their journey as their coach, as their mentor, as their guide, as their advisor, as their consultant. I've got to commit to their business growth as well. I've got to commit to their mission. I've got to contribute to that. See, when you're committed, you know how important it is for you to be working together towards something bigger than yourself. And when you do that, you stay committed. And when you find that sense of purpose, when you find that mission, it can help you guide you through very difficult situations. It actually gives you strength and it helps you resolve those tough things. What do we say? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. So please turn to page number 13 and let's learn about commitment. Number 1, commitment is about making sacrifices to meet a larger goal.
Number 2, commitment is about finding a sense of purpose and a larger mission. Number 3, using a group's core value in making decisions. Number 4, actively seeking out opportunities to achieve the group's mission.
So they're the 4 things that you can do for commitment: sacrifice, purpose, decisions, and opportunities. And for us to be able to commit, we have to be able to break the bad habits. And I think we're all a little bit guilty here. Now, if you want to achieve your goals at an astonishing speed, then today's the day that you've got to break out of those bad habits. We've got to break bad habits and then we've got to create success habits. Now, what we've learned is that there's 7 bad habits. There's going to be 7 habits that hold you back. So you can follow along as we go on page 14.
Number 1, the first bad habit is the multitasking. So if you are a multitasker, you might be experiencing some significant consequences in your day-to-day life.
Multitasking makes it harder to focus on what's important. And it starts to complicate your tasks, jumping from here to there. And you're more likely to make mistakes.
You always feel it's not enough time.
Not enough time.
Yep. Number 2, checking on the social media. So social media is a fun, but it can also cause some serious problems. Depression and anxiety are 2 of the biggest issues that come from too much social media use.
Have you felt that before? That your anxiety levels go up? That the depression gets deeper? And this is why I've stopped using social media. In the past, I used to get a lot of value from it. But today, I've been victim of that anxiety. I've been victimized by the depression. And that's how I feel. So I stopped doing it. Does it make sense, Kim? That would have happened to you, wouldn't it, Kim? You would have never felt anxious or depressed, would have you? Well, I have. Only speaking from experience. Number 3.
Comparing yourself to others. You can make yourself feel better if you don't like yourself. And it's hard to like yourself when you're comparing yourself to others.
Have you felt that on social media? You start to compare yourself to others? What's wrong with me?
So I think the truth is everyone has their own journey and their own path.
You got to remember that. What is it, Nenny?
Everybody, you're on your own journey and you have your own path.
And you can't compare two different things. You can't compare an apple and an orange. They're two totally different fruits. You can't compare them.
So you may not be where they are right now, but it doesn't mean that they're better than you or smarter than you or more capable than you. It just means that they're on a different path than yours.
That's it.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. Number 4, wasting time with the wrong people. Now, you know what sucks? What sucks is wasting time with the wrong people. Some of you have been in relationships with the wrong people and you just waste your time. Is that true? You're working for a company and you're just wasting your time. These are the wrong people. But you know what's worse than wasting your time with the wrong people? It's spending time with 5 failures and becoming the 6th. If you spend time with 5 unsuccessful people, you will become the 6th. So if you want to become successful, what you do is you surround yourself with other successful people who are going places in their life and who can help you get there. Have you noticed that when you tell unsuccessful people about your goals, they start to laugh? They don't tell you it's possible. They tell you it's impossible. They try to talk you out of what you want to do. But when you tell your goals to successful people, you share your mission in life, what do they say? You can do it. I can help you. They lift you up. They say, if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to make the sacrifice, if you're willing to commit, you can be, do, and have everything that you want. And the truth is, if you spend time with 5 successful people, you become the 6th. Making excuses.
Number 5. Do you ever find yourself making excuses or blaming others for your circumstances?
Wife, do you ever make excuses?
Yeah, sometimes.
If I say to you, wife, can I have a little something? What do you say?
I'm too tired. I have no time.
Wife, can I just have a little something? What do you say?
It's too inconvenient. It's not the right time.
Wife, if I say, wife, can I just have 3 minutes of a little something?
You didn't have the condom.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. Stop making excuses. Are you with me? It's not healthy. Making excuses and blaming others is a way of giving up your power.
And I think it's a way also of saying, I'm not capable or you're not capable of doing what you want to do. And it's someone else's fault because it's much easier to blame somebody else.
Isn't it great to blame people? Isn't that a great feeling? Well, it's my mum's fault. It's my dad's fault. It's my brother's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my wife's fault. It's my children. Isn't that a great feeling? Blame, blame, blame.
So when you make excuses, you're actually telling the world that you don't have what it takes to be successful.
That's the worst part. So when you blame your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your children, what are we really saying?
You're telling yourself that your dreams are impossible.
Think about that.
Don't do that.
Every time you blame somebody else, you're actually saying, this is not possible for me.
So don't do that.
And everybody knows it. Number 6, being a perfectionist. When you try to do everything perfectly, you end up paralyzed by analysis and you never get anything done at all. But when you set your sights on 80% perfect, you can make sure you're addressing the most important parts of your task and making progress on what matters most.
Number 7.
Remember this. Are you ready? delegate to accelerate. These are the most magnificent 3 words that you've ever heard. Delegate to accelerate.
Because you're only as good as your team, and you can't be everywhere at once.
You can't do it all.
Yes, you cannot do it all. So if you want to do more,
If you want to be more,
and have more, you have to delegate.
so you've got to delegate to accelerate. So go to the chat box. We want to hear from you. What bad habit can you stop today? Multitasking, checking social media, comparing yourself with others, wasting time with the wrong people, making excuses, being a perfectionist, or failing to delegate. Well, what about me? What am I going to do now? What are my best habits? Well, my best habit is this, is not wasting time with the wrong people. I have been working for years on this, really have. And do you know how I solved that problem, George? I just moved country. I get away from them all. Are you with me? So, for me, I'm very good at that. I don't waste my time with the wrong people. What's my worst habit? Well, my worst habit is being a perfectionist. Firstly, it's the time spent with no additional reward. Secondly, I've got to remember that people just want it done. My clients want it done. That's the most important thing. Just get it done. Thirdly, perfection is a moving target. Perfection is a moving target. What you think is perfect today will change tomorrow, and you'll start to chase an unrealistic target. How many different versions of the iPhone is there? Multiple versions. What are we up to? iPhone 15? Mm-hmm. And then every other year we get it like an iPhone 15S, a little sub version. And it's always getting better, isn't it? They've never achieved perfection. They never will, because the target always moves. TC, multitasking.
George, multitasking, doing too much, have too many goals. Yes, need to focus and streamline.
Pei Quinn, wasting time with the wrong people. Yes. So we've got to stop the old habits, and then we've got to develop the success habits. So for you to achieve goals with astonishing speed, you can't afford to waste any more time. Today is the day that you've got to start creating success habits, and there are 7 success habits that are going to make you rich. So when you're ready, turn over to page 15, and these are the success habits that are going to make you rich.
Number 1, get up early. So if you want to make your dreams a reality, get up early. If you want to accomplish your goals, you need to start investing in yourself first.
You've got to read a lot. Reading is one of the most important things you can do. If you read for an hour per day, you'll read 52 books this year. And that'll put you in the top 1% of knowledgeable people in your industry.
Number 3, plan your day in advance. 10 minutes spent planning your day save up to 100 minutes in execution. And that time you can use to make more sales, which will double your sales in 28 days.
28 days. Make exercise a priority. This one's for you, George. By exercising for 30 minutes per day, you can put yourself in the top 10% of healthy people on the planet. Remember that the fastest way to shift your psychology is to shift your physiology. You've got to keep moving throughout the day.
Number 5, be obsessed with your own goals. You can't just be good. You have to be great. And for that, you need to be obsessed with your goals.
You've also got to get lots of sleep. Now, getting a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep is essential for us to perform at our best. Sleep helps us think more clearly. Sleep helps us process new information more quickly. Sleep helps us stay focused on the tasks at hand. Now, without enough sleep, we can't function. Without enough sleep, we make more mistakes. without enough sleep, we have less productivity.
Number 7, avoid time wasters. Learn to say no to the people who make you feel bad about yourself, who don't value your time, and who don't respect your goals and dream.
You know who those people are, don't you? You know those people who make you feel bad?
They treat you bad.
You got to stop spending time with them. You got to avoid them like you would avoid COVID. Remember we used to wear masks? Remember we used to wear masks? Yeah. You got to avoid the plague. You got to avoid those people. So, Nini, out of those 7 things, what are you going to start doing today?
That's how, you know why? Because I might choose the same as George, make exercise as a priority. Because I get up early, I read every day, I always plan my day. I'm really obsessed with my goal. I sleep 7 hours per day. I avoid time wasters. So the only thing left is make the exercise a priority.
Excellent. Okay, I'll get George to hold you accountable for that one. Okay, go to the chat box. Let us know. What success habit can you start today? What are you going to do? Well, for me, it's sleep. And I didn't prioritize my sleep in the past. I thought I had to be grinding and working and staying up late and getting up early. But then I realized that led to illness. So now I prioritize 8 hours of sleep. I go to sleep before you, I get up after you, but I need at least 8 hours to function at my best.
Yep.
So as part of my 2024 plan, as I explode into 2024, is I go to bed at 10 and I wake up at 7.
Yeah.
So that's actually 9 hours. And if I can get between 8 and 9 hours sleep, I'm great.
Yeah, your dark circle has disappeared, I have to say.
No dark circles, grey hairs reversing. Okay, Gail, obsess about your goals. TC, sleep 7 to 8 hours and avoid time wasters. Agnes, read a lot. Jesse, get up early and sleep 7 to 8 hours. You'll find that if you start to sleep 7 to 8 hours, you'll start to lose weight. Immediately, you'll start to lose weight because the body's functioning and you're not consuming all those sugary foods. You don't consume sugar, salt, white floury stuff because your body doesn't need it. You're not trying to artificially inject some energy into you. You're just naturally energetic. Excellent. Pei Quinn, read a lot. Wonderful. Now, let's talk about psycho-neuro-motor activities. This is really important. Have you ever heard of this before? Have you heard me talk about psycho-neuro-motor activities? Have you? Well, it's very simple and it works. See, when you write your goals down, you program them directly into your subconscious mind. Not type them, not typing. You've got to write them down. And when you write them down, they'll be there forever. And George, part of me getting sick was I was writing down my goal. It is now the 28th of March, 2024, and I now weigh 93 kilos. And I was giving my mind new instructions. So my mind said, new instruction, we're got to lose weight. What's the fastest way to lose weight? Let's get sick. That's how fast it happens. Because when you write it down, you're directly programming your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is the goal getter. It takes care of all of your learning, all of your behavior, all of your change, and the goal will be there in forever. Now, the thing is, you don't need to think about the goals consciously anymore. They've already been wired into your mind and body, and they're just waiting for you to use them. So as a family, every single morning, we do our goal setting. Every single morning. So let's think about this. Page 16. You've got to write your goals down. You've got to write them down 10 times in the morning, and you write them down in the positive, present, and personal tense. You can write something like this. It is now the 28th of March, 2024, and I now weigh 93 kilos. You could say it is now the 19th of July, 2024, and I earn $1,000 per hour. And what you do every single day is you write them down 10 times a day. This is how you get it deep into your subconscious mind. Now, the truth is, only 1% of people will actually do this. So if somebody says, Daniel, who are you? I say, I'm in the top 1%. Nini, who are you? I'm in the top 1%. Caesar, Nikita, who are you? I'm in the top 1%. By writing our goals down on a daily basis, we're doing what 99% of the world won't do. We're in the 1%. We know it. And we invite you to come and join us in the 1%. So we've got to activate your unconscious mind. So remember, your unconscious mind is the source of all of your actions, decisions, and results. And it's the place where everything starts. So if you want to achieve those goals with astonishing speed, you've got to start to tap into this very powerful resource. Secondly, we have
the conscious mind. Your conscious mind is great at setting goals, but it's not good at making sure they're met. That's where your unconscious mind come in.
Now, the unconscious mind is the goal getter. Remember that. The conscious mind is the goal setter. The unconscious mind is the goal getter. And it works best when you set it up with specific instructions. And it's like an army of workers that will do whatever you tell it to do, whenever you want it to do it. But only if you've told them exactly what to do and when to do it, and you give them specific instructions. So let's think about my goal. It is now 28th of March, 2024, and I weigh 93 kilos. My question to you is, did my body start to lose weight? Did those little workers go to work and figure out how can we get Daniel his goal? Did that happen? Yes, I went from 107 to 98 kilos. And it's not even the 28th of March yet. They were told lose weight. Is that correct? But they weren't told how. So you've got to tell your unconscious mind what you want and how you want it. You've got to give it the conditions. And for me, I just forgot to say to do it in the healthiest way possible. So if you want your goals to become a reality, you've got to give yourself specific instructions. You've got to give the unconscious mind clear instructions on what it needs to do. So when it comes time for action, your unconscious mind will go ahead and just get stuff done without you having to worry about it. And in order to do that, you have to be able to
activate your unconscious mind. So when it comes to using your unconscious mind, there are 3 things you need to do.
There's not 3 things. There's 4 things.
Oh, really?
There's 4 things because there was a new discovery.
Oh.
And I put it into the training just this morning. So I'm going to tell you what the 4th one is in a moment. What's the first one? And you can follow along and you can write it down in here.
The first one is visualizations. So you have to visualize your goals already taking place.
Already taking place. For me, I've got to see myself as already weighing 93 kilos. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Secondly is verbalization. You've got to verbalize your goals out loud on a daily basis. So both Caesar and Nini and Nikita all have the same goal. Would you like to know what it is? Can I share it with them? Because I don't know if they're my coach. Can I share it with them?
Yeah.
But they're not my coach. Because before I said, don't share your goals with anybody because they might criticize you. Are you going to criticize me if I share my goals? No, I know you're not, because you're the type of people who come to this training and you wouldn't. So the family goal, Nini, Nikita and Caesar, is it is now the 28th of December, 2024, and my goals and my grades are above 90%. Now, the interesting thing was that was Nikita's goal in 2023. And every morning that she went to school, she said, Dad, it is now the 28th of December, 2023, and my grades are above 90%. And every time she come back with an exam, it was almost always above 90%. Sometimes 95%, sometimes 88%, but on an average, it was always above 90%. And every day When we walk outside, we go in the elevator and we verbalize our goals. So you've got to verbalize your goals. You've got to say them out loud every morning. Thirdly,
emotionalization. So you have to emotionalize your goals, feeling the feeling of success already taking place.
You've got to bring it to life with your emotions. If you're not emotional about the goal, it's never going to happen. I really want to lose weight. I got reasons why I need to lose weight. And it happened. You need reasons, like George said before. You need reasons. And if you don't have reasons, you don't get your goals. So you've got to emotionalize it. You've got to feel it. And then the new thing, which I entered into the training this morning, is rationalization. Now, how do we rationalize our goals? Well, how we rationalize our goals is we've got to write the goal down. And then what you do is you list all of the reasons why you want to achieve this goal. But you've got to do it with pen and paper, because all of those reasons you're programming into your subconscious mind. And so what I do, I have 100 reasons why I must succeed. I also write down 100 reasons why I must not fail. And that's my fuel. That's my motivation. That's my rationalization. Let me tell you a story. A client came to me many years ago and he said, Daniel, I want to work with you. And I said, good, what's your goal? And he told me his goal. And I said, good, go away. And I want you to write down 20 reasons why you must succeed and 20 reasons why you must not fail. 2 weeks later, he said to me, I've got my 20 reasons. And I said, there's 10 reasons why you must succeed and 10 reasons why you must not fail. I said, 20 reasons for both. And he said, that's all I could think of. And I said, well, if that's all you can think of, then you're going to run out of motivation really quickly. And I don't work with people who don't have motivation. So no, you can't join my program. Go away and give me 50 reasons why you must succeed, 50 reasons why you must not fail. And he said, 50 reasons why? And I said, yes, and 50 reasons why you cannot. He said, well, last time you told me it was 20. And I said, when I told you it was 20 last time, you didn't take it serious. And if you don't write down 50 reasons why you must succeed and 50 reasons why you must not fail, you're probably not serious about the goal. So he came back to me a month later and he said, here's my goal, here's my list of 50. And I said, 50? There's 25 reasons why you must succeed and 25 reasons why you must not fail. And he said, well, you told me 50. I said, no, I told you 50 for each. And he said, can I join the program? I said, no. I said, because people who don't follow instructions don't succeed. I said, go away. He said, well, what am I going to do? I said, you've got to write down 100 reasons why you must succeed and 100 reasons why you must not fail. He said, 100 of both, that's 200. And I said, well, you're the type of person, if you don't have 100 reasons why you must succeed and 100 reasons why you must not fail, you'll never achieve your goal. Go away. Don't talk to me until you've got your 100. He came back to me a month later and he said, Daniel, here's 100 reasons why I must succeed and 100 reasons why I must not fail. And I said, excellent. Welcome to the program. Within 6 months, he quit his job. Within 6 months, he started his own business. Within 2 years, he had 14 people working for him. Today, he wears a Rolex. He lives in a 7-bedroom home. He's a millionaire. He's one of the top real estate agents in the country. And every time he writes down a goal, he writes down 100 reasons why he must succeed and 100 reasons why he must not fail. And every year, he has his best year yet. Why? Because of rationalization. So, as Nietzsche once said, he who has a strong enough why can bear almost any how. Rationalization is the fuel in your tank. The more reasons, the more motivation, the more motivation, the more persistence, the more persistence, the more creative. The more creative you are, it's then you become unstoppable. And these are the 4 things. You need to visualize your goals already taking place. You need to say them out loud. You need to emotionalize them. You've got to feel it, what it feels like. And then you've got to rationalize it. You've got to write it down And you've got to have 100 reasons why you must succeed and 100 reasons why you must not fail. And if you do that, you'll explode into 2024 and you'll make an impact that others will envy. Does it make sense now? So let's review. Let's review what you've learned today.
So today, you already learned how to break the bad habits with the 7 simple steps.
7 simple steps.
You also master 7 success habits to achieve your goal with the astonishing speed.
You'll do it fast.
Also conquer any goal by activating the power of your unconscious mind.
The conscious mind is the goal setter. The unconscious mind is the goal getter.
You also dominated 2024 by becoming the person to achieve any goals.
You've got to set the goal and then you've got to become the person to achieve the goal.
You also learn the procrastination pattern that keep you trapped. Also learn to master the skill of self-regulation to get out of any mental rot. Also conquer the doubts and also the lead from the optimism to achieve your goal with astonishing speed.
Live with optimism.
Yep.
Live with hope of succeeding. Live with hope of achieving your goals rather than approaching life with the fear of failure. Approach it with hope.
You also learn how, understand how to commit to your goals so you can explore into 2024.
God's committed to you. God put you here. You came to this planet with secrets and special skills that can make an impact. The world's committed to you. Everything's here. There's $10 trillion circling around the economy every day. And all you're asking for is a couple of thousand. It's very easy. You've got to tap into it. It's all there for you.
You also learn the 7 reasons why people don't set goals. Also master the 7-step goal setting to achieve your goals. We also learn conquer the 5-step SMART goal setting formula so you can explore into 2024. The final one will be determine your perfect goal so you can stop wasting your time with the wrong people.
Good. So go to the chat box. What's the one goal that's most important to you this year? Go to the chat box and let us know what's the number one most important goal for you this year. For me, my goal, it is now the 19th of July, 2024, and I earn $1,000 per hour. I only have one major goal this year. And when I achieve that, and I'm on my way, I'm getting closer, I'm already at 750, just got to tap over to 1,000, that will enable me to do everything that I want. So mine's an income goal. What about you? Go to the chat box. What's your number one goal for you to achieve in 2024? What's yours, Nini?
Well, I give myself 6 months time. So it's now 30th of June, 2024. I already earning 750 per hours.
Excellent.
Okay, so now I'm 500. I charge my client 500. So for me, I want to increase.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Excellent. Jesse, it's now the 28th of December, 2024, and I'm earning $20,000 per month. Excellent, Kim. It is now the 31st of December, 2024, and I've earned 240,000 ringgits. Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. And now what you got to do is you've got to be able to visualize that. You've got to be able to see yourself as the person who can earn that amount of money. You've got to verbalize it. I tell people for years, people would ask me, how much do you earn per hour? $500. And then all of a sudden I was charging $500. And then I said, I'm going to charge $750. So I started to tell people I charge $750. And now I tell people I charge $1,000. You got to verbalize it. Samantha, it is now the 31st of March, 2024, and I have successfully coached one paying client.
Wonderful.
Excellent. And now you've got to emotionalize that. You've got to feel what it's like to have achieved that goal. The feeling comes first, not second. You've got to feel it now. And then you've got to rationalize these. You've got to start to write down 100 reasons why you must succeed, because you're going to have obstacles. Yes, I did get sick last year, but I still achieved my goals because I had so many reasons to achieve them. Had so many reasons why I must not fail. So that's what we're going to do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here at Explode into 2024. You are some of the most important people in your community, the most important people in your family, because when you make an impact, everybody else benefits. When you make an impact and achieve your goals with astonishing speed, your family live a better life. The people in your business benefit, your community benefits, and the planet benefits from you being the very best version of yourself. So thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to see everybody here.
And we wish that 2024 is your best year yet. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Ciao for now. Bartholomew, thank you for being here. Elise, thank you for being here. Gail, thank you for being here. Jesse, thank you for being here. Joshua, thank you for being here. Kim, thank you for being here. Priya, thank you for being here. Samantha, thank you for being here. Sylvia, thank you for being here. TC, thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful year, and we'll see you soon. Ciao for now.